Okie dokie. Let's move this stupid thing over to the right screen. That was the wrong screen. It's one of those days, isn't it? Anyways. Hello, everybody. Hello, Harry. Hello, everybody else in early morning land or late evening land, I guess, if you're somewhere else. Today's actually going to be a different stream, and it's going to be a different week. I got asked to do some videos on specific topics regarding game jams. Basically, Unreal is lacking in not Unreal, but hold on. And a speaker that was about to leap off my desk. Epic would like to fill in some of the holes that they have for videos, and in particular regarding their templates. In case anyone doesn't know what the templates are, those are when you create a new project, it asks you if you'd like to do a pre-made template, and the templates give you some pre-made stuff, like the first-person template gives you, first-person movement. The top-down gives you a nice mouse click, and the character will AI to where it's going and things like that. So they don't really have much documentation or helpfulness in terms of content for the templates. So they asked if I could do like some game jam tips and tricks videos, basically breaking down the templates, showing what they come with, what they'd be useful to, things that would help speed up your development process with Unreal Engine when you're doing game jams, because game jams by nature you need to move pretty quickly, and anything that gives you an increase in productivity or decrease in time taken to do something is a benefit. Now, I will be gone Friday through Sunday and the weekend, so I basically have to come up with about 25 videos approximately over the next 4 days. I need to come up with, record, and finalize. So my live streams this week are going to be creating the projects and getting everything ready for recording purposes. So what I'd like to do is, I have been asking for help from general people in regards to, tips and tricks they generally have. If you've participated in a game jam, something that may have taken you a while, but once you did it, you were like, wow, that took me a while just because I didn't have enough information. Or, hey, it would have been nice to know this. Or, I spent 3 hours cooking and compiling and trying to get my file size down because I didn't know this trick. The first rough draft I have is basically this document here. And if anyone wants to read it, I'm going to toss it into the chat. This is basically, the first section is templates. It's going to be something covering every template. Then after that, we have general tips and tricks for specific subjects. Maybe things like in the editor, things regarding geometry brushes. These are just rough layouts. Some of these aren't going to work because I may not have enough content, but something like audio. Using audio cues to make simple audio variation. Rather than just playing the wave file, you play an audio cue. These are simple things that help a lot, because rather than recording, 10 different things, looping up 10 different setups, you could just use audio cues and make modifications to audio really quickly. Stuff like that is what I'm looking for. So, if anyone who's watching now or maybe on the replay, I have this week to do this, 4 days. It's Monday currently. I'm going to be working on them. Feel free to give suggestions. Even if it's not necessarily related to a game jam, but something that may help. For example, with the content stuff, if I can figure out where my project is, something as simple as knowing that you can have more than one detail panel open, and knowing that you can lock the detail panel to a specific target, so you have the ability to technically work with 2 different things at once and transfer values over. If anyone was watching the shooting gallery one, we use that in order to move positions really quickly. So that's helpful. Things like the ability to have multiple content browsers. A lot of people don't know you can have multiple content browsers. So you could have one, for example, locked up. Oh, where's the stupid place I'm trying to lock it to and it's not cooperating? Well, anyways, you could have a content browser, for example, locked into a different spot. And you could have one, for example, full of, stuff like this, and then you could have another one where it's just like this. You can have multiple things for sorting purposes. You could have one, for example, since it's a content browser, that filters out just your textures. So like here is an easy browsable way to see all my textures all at once, and I can easily drag and drop, but not mess up anything else over here. So simple stuff like that. So again, any suggestions, anything that is, hey, this was kind of cool, it took me a while to figure out, but if I figured it out, oh, I had difficulty with making my user interface. I have no idea how to use an interface. So maybe like a quick video, boom, here's how you create a quick interface type stuff. Stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to be working on. Let me, I did see your, well, first of all, I'll just call you Gaming because I don't know how to pronounce the first part. Yeah, feel free to ask the question. That's what we're here for. I will answer questions the best I can. What I want to do is I have 2 videos that I've already done for this. So feel free to watch the videos, give feedback on the videos, comment on the videos. These are basically the first rough drafts for these videos. So if anyone would like to simply watch them before they're done and give feedback or comments, this is what I'm aiming for. I have one in here on the first person template, and then I have one in here on geometry brushes. So I also think the microphone's on my headset. That's weird. Anyways, so that's it. That's what we're going to be doing this week. So, but like normal, feel free to ask questions. I'll help you guys out. It's just during the streaming for these 2 days, since I won't be streaming Friday, I'm going to be basically taking and working on stuff. So, for example, I have the first person one done, where I'm going to move on to one of the other templates and start modifying it. And the goal with the templates is basically to show what it comes with. So, for example, if we pull up the 2D side scroller, I can figure out where I put that at. It's over there, it looks like. If I pull up the 2D side scroller, we'll find that this is a 2D template. It's using sprites and paper 2D. And I'll be able to show, for example, that it comes with a built-in character. You have a controller set up for movement. It's restricted on one of the axes. It's using flipbooks for your animation, stuff like that. So explain basically what advantages you get for using this template. And then pull in some other third-party resources. Go through the Learn section and things like that. So the Learn and the Marketplace, the free stuff. Pull the free stuff in and show how after a little bit we can create kind of like a basic game. That's what I will be doing here. And actually on this one, maybe I'll just steal the stick figure 2D. Because this is an example of... you know what? I think I might do that. So that, yeah. So like for example, if let me pull up the one I've actually done so I can show you. Where the hell do I keep hiding stuff at? It's in here, right? Yeah. The first person. The first person is what I did as a quick example. Let's see. I'm making a cover game. I want to make the character vault over the cover. How to do that was the best way to do it. Crap. I wish... Hold on a second. I'm trying to find... Here we go. Let's see. Crap. Is there a search button in here? I'm trying to look at something right now. To answer your question regarding vaulting, sorry about that. That's what I kind of got distracted before I kind of actually said that. Now, there's a first-person shooter series out there, and I was hoping he did stuff like this. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he did, but I was just hoping that he did. Okay, so honestly, I wish I knew the answer. Those things are pretty difficult. I'm assuming since it's a cover game, it's a third person. Basically, the way you're going to want to do that is, I mean, you'll probably have like activation points on the wherever the cover's at. And if you're allowed to vault over it, it's an animation. Basically, you'll unlock the character, it'll play an animation over it, and then you'll lock the character back down. That's as far as I know. If you have something you want me to check out, feel free to link it, and I'll try to check it out when I can. I honestly have never done anything like that. I know there are... I've got to stop tabbing. There we go. I know there are some out there, but I've never actually played with them. I mean, you have the parkour kit, because that's kind of basically what you're looking for, the ability to vault over things. Of course, it's not working for me. Yeah. That doesn't help. It's... Yeah, the thing is, for stuff like this, the stuff you're talking about, it's very artistically heavy. Very. It's a lot of stuff to get it done right. I'm looking at your video now. Honestly, that looks better than the stuff I'd accomplished at the beginning. It looks like your problem is it's not locking the animation when it's starting it. Because your actual vault animation looks fine once it kicks in. But it looks like your character's basically jumping and then your vault animation kicks in. It's honestly what it looks like. Because if you look at the animation itself, once it does like the half jump, it looks like then it basically grabs and walks over. Yeah, it looks like you're fine, to be honest. It is buggy. I would say look at what you're using to, what are you using to determine your vault status? Basically, hey, I should be vaulting right now. Are you jumping over it, or are you doing a different key? Oops, and I forgot to tweet that I went live. Let me fix that. It's been a weekend. A second, I apologize for this. At least I remembered halfway through it rather than later. Oh, I need to mute that too. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay. And yeah, for anyone else who was wondering what I was watching, I hope you don't have a problem with me putting this up on the stream. But I like I was saying, I don't see anything technically wrong with this, except it looks like it's jumping. Let's see if we can pause it at the right spot. Okay, so when you start, it looks like you basically do a normal jump for the third-person character, and then at the height of the jump, when it switches from the start jump animation to the next one, it basically does the vault animation. That vault animation looks fine. I mean, seriously, the foot's planted on the ground, it looks like it vaults over, no problem. So maybe you have either the starting vault animation is wrong, or you're doing your vault in the middle of your jump animation. Other than that, just from my personal opinion, the vault itself, where it looks like you have one foot on the ground, the other one on the ledge, and it goes over, looks fine. So I would check whatever you're using to fire off of this. If you're using your jump button, for example, maybe you're just starting your vault in the incorrect spot. Or maybe you just simply don't have your starting vault animation proper. The actual part, like here, is fine. But the part before that, if I can show me the frame, come on, you can do it. No, it's not gonna let me. Whoops, that would be this right here. You notice how your character is literally just jumping straight up from the ground without any sort of animation, and then it, boom, kicks right into the vault? That's what I'd look at. Other than that, it looks great. I think you've done a fantastic job. That first animation needs to be worked on is all. Okay, so back to the first person stuff. This is the first person template, and it basically comes with your little dude who can move around, shoot, and all that fun stuff. Then I basically took some examples from the Infinity Blade series, took the example map with the Infinity Blade series, and I created this for an example project of what you could quickly do in a game jam environment using assets. So we actually have the same thing. We have a little goal at the top of the screen that pops down with a little UMG. We have a little health bar. We have some characters we can shoot at. They will follow us. They trigger based on both getting shot as well as proximity. We use navigation meshes. You have different enemies with different amounts of actual health. For example, like our last boss here is actually faster and stronger. And then we have a little sequencer that'll play out at the end. Once we get over here to the end of the ramparts, that kind of gives us a level complete. Not kind of, but it gives us a level complete. See? So something like that. And, you know, that was about an hour worth of work, pulling in some assets, creating some quick blueprints and stuff like that. So that's the goal of this tips and tricks stuff for the templates. Pull in the template, do a little bit of work, show what the base template comes with, and then show you what you could accomplish after a little bit of time. So that's what I'm going to be working on during these streams. That's what I was trying to get to. And zooming in my browser apparently at the same time. Okay, I'm also chatting in chat. This is just gonna be a really busy week for me. But I'm good. I'm good. We'll make it work. In theory. Okay, so template stuff. So as I go through these, so my basic thought process is we have the learn stuff. So here's like the learn Unreal stick figure. So let me drop this into somewhere. This one this one I'm gonna save till later. But for like the 2D template, I'm gonna show what the 2D template comes with, and then I'm gonna show what has been created with this Unreal stick figure to give you a really simple example of what you can accomplish. So for like this flying one, I don't think we have any learn resources for the flying stuff, if I'm correct. I don't think they've done anything with the flying stuff. Yeah. Oh, no, technically they've done the kite, haven't they? Landscape mountains. This is the kite one. Okay, you know what? I'm going to use the kite one because this allows you to fly with a hang glider. And it shows some quick little examples. Okay, so I'm going to do that for the flying one. So now we're on the puzzle one. So the puzzle template, if anyone hasn't seen it, starts off with this right here, which I'll show in a second. I'm also quickly looking through this to see if there's any... match 3 technically is the simplest, but the puzzle template is just really simple. It is a top-down view. You have some things, you can click on them. It keeps track of score when you click on stuff, and that's it. I mean, it's a really simple template showing you how to create a top-down view. You get some items that react to touches or clicks, and then it keeps track of things in your user interface. And good morning, Pro Tools. So I need to, technically I won't be doing anything specific with the VR template. I will just be covering what you can do with it. I don't have my VR stuff set up, and I won't be having it set up in time for this. These templates are not meant, these examples here are not meant to be very big. I mean, these are meant to be in the context of a game jam, So they are meant to be, hey, here's a template, here's the basics of what it gets you started with, and after a little bit of time using some resources, here's something you could accomplish and expand upon. Kind of like a kickstart to a game is what this is intended to be. So for the VR stuff, honestly, I don't think I'm going to be doing anything except explaining the VR template itself, because I don't have my VR stuff set up and there's not really much I can do. But the VR stuff itself is actually pretty nice. Okay, so I just managed to get lost again. So the puzzle template. I can't think of a really quick, simple idea to make with the puzzle template, besides maybe showing them the no, because see, I don't want to show them something that they wouldn't be able to accomplish in the terms of a game jam, in terms of time. So, if, like with this puzzle template, I'd love to be able to recreate that Blackout game, but I can't remember the code for it. Not the code, the algorithm for it. If you know what I mean by Blackout game, it's one where like you'd click here, and it would turn anything around it that color. So, like if I click here, this would become orange, and then anything around me would become orange, for example. So here, 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 and here. And then I click here, and these would become orange, and this would become blue because it was already orange. And you know what? I might be able to quickly do that. You know what? Let's see if we can quickly do that. You know what? Now that I think about it, I wonder if there's a really, really simple, cheesy way of doing this using just line traces. Since our puzzle is technically physically in our scene. Okay, why is my camera? Whoa. My camera's not cooperating. Yeah, since these are physically in the scene, if we line trace in all 4 directions and tell somebody something happened, I bet you we could do this. You know what? So let's grab our puzzle block. Let's find the click event. So this handles our click. This handles setting our material. This handles adding our score. Let's disconnect adding this. Actually, we're going to be needing to show what the original one works like. So let's duplicate, and this is going to be puzzle block mod. What we're going to call this one. Okay. We're going to go and disconnect this. We're not going to worry about the score. And what we want to do is, let's do a simple line trace. Why did it do a line trace component? No. Line trace by channel. There we go. Okay, so this should be really, really silly. Let's see if we can do this. The goal is to basically, I'm going to spend about an hour or so, see how I can quickly modify the template and give us something that you use as a basis in a game. And then, you know, your artist would spend some time arting things up and stuff like that. It's about 30-40 hours worth of work. It should be interesting. And hello, Nick and Plautus. Okay, so we're going to get the actor's location and spell it properly. So, because this is going to start from where we are, and it's going to go out in each of the directions. So we're basically going to get this location, and we're going to add a vector to it. And let's see, if we are at the top, let's run this, let's eject, let's tag something. We're going to go X and the Y. So let's just go on the positive X, let's do 200. And let's do this, and this is when I clicked on something, okay? So, what's the easiest way of doing this? Let's duplicate the map into here. Map, and we'll call this mod. So this is the map we're actually going to work in. And we are going to replace our stuff. So puzzle block grid is what starts up everything. So if we find our puzzle block grid, we copy it here. Grab our puzzle block grid, and we'll call this one mod. And then we'll go ahead and replace the puzzle block grid with the puzzle block mod. And it's in here somewhere. Is it this thing right here? There we go. Replace puzzle block. Wait. Where's my puzzle block? Oh, sorry. Jeez, did they have anything on here? There we go. Replace. Selected actions with mod. There we go. So now we should have... No, see, damn it. It's replacing the stupid mesh with my grid. Okay, so the score is part of this. Okay, so let's find where the scores are. There we go. So now we can do this. Replace it with mod. So now our puzzle block grid should actually be a puzzle block mod. Yep, there we go. Okay, cool. So now it should spawn in the mod one. And then if we go into our mod one here, and we tell it to spawn in the regular ones right here. So instead of our puzzle blocks, we're going to spawn in the puzzle block mod. You can find those wherever they're hiding. Puzzle block mod. I know I could have typed, but I figured that would have been easier, but it wasn't. And then we hit play. And apparently crashed the entire thing. That was pretty cool. Huh. Okay, this doesn't seem like a very productive way to start the morning by crashing the engine. Huh. I'll be damned, I think I managed to crash it. Huh. I wonder what I did. That's kind of cool. As you can see there, basically the engine is going banana nuts bonkers. Okay, well, nice thing is we can kill that. Let's go back to our puzzle template. Plautus, if you're looking for people to work on games, go to the Unreal Engine 4 forums, and there's a collaboration section. And there's people who are looking for collaborations and stuff like that. Okay, so here's my map with the proper template. And we were replacing this with the mod one, right? Yeah. Okay. So now we should have the puzzle block grid mod. Okay, so we've got the right template in here. So what the hell did we do wrong here? Yeah, all I did was replace this with the mod version, right? Okay, let's save everything in case we crash it again. And let's actually go into the mod and see what we did here. The puzzle block mod is what we're spawning. We're doing a line trace whenever you click on something, so that shouldn't be an issue. Huh. Nope, look at that. Huh. I'll be damned. I managed to find a way to completely lock up the engine and just soak up memory. And Ryan, I would love to remake Rust in Unreal Engine 4, but it's already in Unity, which is obviously the superior engine for making Rust. So I'd have to go back to Unity to remake a game like that. I could check the log, but there's no fun in that. Yeah, come on, look at that. Can I pretty please have my main interface back? Thank you. Ooh, look at that. Okay, I don't want to look at my damn log. Seriously? So, this is definitely not something you'd want to encounter in a game jam, obviously. But I need to figure out what's causing this. So we have the mod puzzle grid in here. And that's this code. And all we've done on this one is tell it to spawn in the mod block. So let's tell it to... Oh, son of a... Yeah, that was pretty special. No, I don't need the log. I got it. So, this is the puzzle block grid mod blueprint. And I was telling it to spawn in the puzzle block grid mod blueprint. So every time this blueprint spawned itself, it would make another copy of itself and spawn in another copy. And it was repeating indefinitely. Because instead of spawning in the actual block itself, I was spawning in the grid. And apparently it didn't trigger Unreal's infinite loop detection. It just kept adding in more and more memory, which was highly amusing. Okay, so yeah, so that's funnier than hell. But I unhooked our code to do the line traces because I broke it. That's right. Okay, so there we go. So this is what I was looking for. See how we have a little bit of a line trace sticking out of the north end? So that's exactly what I was trying to do. I'm basically going to cheat and have it hit its nearest neighbor. So like when you hit this one, it'll hit everything around it, and that's going to tell its nearest neighbor to you're right, Ryan. The infinite loop checker wouldn't check it, but that's funny that I did that. It was basically gridception is what it was. Every time you created a grid, you told it to create another grid one level deeper. And it would have ran until I ran out of memory, which would have taken a while. Okay, so we're going to do this. So for each loop, not a for each loop, just a for loop. We know that there are 4 directions. So we're going to go from 0 to 3. And you know what? This is my loop. I'm going to go from 0 to 4 because I feel like going from 0 to 4. So we're going to loop through here 4 times. And then based on this, we're going to do a select node because select nodes are friggin' awesome. And what this is going to do is it's going to take this and this value here. And we're going to go from here and we're going to add that like that. Then we can add 2 more pins like this and plug this into here. And what this monstrosity will do will allow me to do something really simple. I can just do 500 and then negative 500 and then 500 and negative 500. And every time it loops through, we should get a different line trace. So I should be able to get all 4 traces if I did that properly. Which obviously I didn't because it's not going up. Because no option 0, because I thought I'd be clever and do that, and it kind of screwed up my loop. Yeah, being clever screws. So there we go, boom. So now we have 4. Now we can easily do our line traces and have it activate the items around it. So we will easily go on to our next thing, and we're going to, well, we know these will be puzzle blocks, so, I'm going to do something I don't normally do, and we're just going to cast. Oh wait, first we got to break. Normally I do the interfaces, but we're going to pretend it's a game jam and do it really quickly. And we're just going to do the cast fail in order to determine if we hit the proper thing. So we'll do this, and we'll be, if we hit a puzzle block mod, then we're going to tell the puzzle block mod to do something. So now we need to find our puzzle block mod. And we're going to create a new custom event. We'll call this one custom event. And this will be, I was touched. And this will simply be print string. We'll call hello on that one. So we'll go back over here. We'll tell it I was touched. And we should get some touch messages now. So this one should give me 3 touch messages. This one should give me 4. This one should give me 2. So cool. Now we can successfully touch things around us. And only if they allow us to touch them, obviously. Crap, I'm going to have to... I think this was just for the point, so we're not going to worry about that for now. I broke something in the middle of recasting an item, but not an issue. So I was touched. So I was touched is basically going to flip whatever it currently is and update an index on our grid. So our grid, we are actually going to have to keep track of it because our grid is going to keep track of if everyone has been touched. So let's go back into our block mod, and the owning grid, we used to have it being the grid, so this is going to be the mod version of the owning grid. So puzzle block grid mod. Yep, I know. I already know this. Not even worried about this. I should be able to hook this back in. Seriously. Oh, because I'm targeting the okay. Score, and this should be yeah. There we go. I'm just updating some of the existing code. I don't think we're going to use this, but I want to fix it since it's already here. Okay, and we'll go back to our grid. This passes in the only grid. It's using this so that way when the mod does something, it knows who owns it, and it can tell it to go back. And feel free to ask the questions whenever you want. I will take breaks as I can to answer questions. So our blocks are in here. This is good. We're gonna have to have another custom event, and we'll call this one keep track of touched blocks. And this one's simply going to be an input, and this one will be our block index. This will be an integer. We're gonna make a new variable called touched. Obviously not whatever I just typed. Touched blocks. We're gonna make this an index of integers, and we're going to simply we're gonna click the array button and then pull it in because that's what I planned on doing, and then set array element index. Oh, yep. This is me being dumb. This is supposed to be booleans. Yep, because we're keeping track of whether or not it's touched. So it's there we go. So, and of course I have to change that one because it's the wild card. There we go. And there's our index for the blocks. And then we need to, of course, was it touched? Was touched. Is a boolean, and then like that. There we go. So that should work in theory. We'll figure it out in a second. The whole point of this is to figure out if it's working or not. So I was touched. So I was touched is going to grab the owning grid, and it's going to say keep track of touched blocks. It's going to pass in our block number and if we were touched or not. And I believe that's the is active. Which is technically we're gonna have to change here because the way this code has worked, this code's set to only do things once, so this is fine. If you're already active, we're basically gonna copy this code here, move it down a little bit, duplicate it right here, do it like this. We're gonna have to change this to the blue material because we're no longer active, and we set it to no longer active. So now if you are active, you won't be active. If you aren't active, you won't. You'll pass over here. We'll go back to here. Are we touched? We'll pass in is active. We need to assign a block index for every single time we spawn one of these. So we'll do block index. This is going to be an integer. We're going to pass block index in right here. Move these things down a little bit because they were bothering me. Go back to our mod, find where we spawn these things. Here's where we spawn them. We're doing it in a loop, so the nice thing is it's super simple to find our mod block, expose this on spawn, go back over here, boom, block index, grab the loop, toss that in, boom, there we go. Cool. Let's see, questions. When do you think you'll take a look at a fire spreading system? I don't know, honestly. It definitely won't be this week, and I doubt it'll be this month. The fire spreading system is really complex. I've seen the documentation about the Far Cry 2 system, and I know there's some stuff on the marketplace to do it, but I doubt it'll be this month, to be honest. RAR. I'm new to this, so I don't really understand why you pick some variables. Why Boolean and not integer, etc. Basically, like Conrad is saying, there's they hold different things. That's your biggest thing. A Boolean basically is a 0 or 1, a true or a false. It only holds two values. An integer is a solid number without a fraction. So 10, not 10.5. Floats are numbers with divider points, so 10.5, for example, rather than 10. All this information is basic information for programming. There are tutorials on my website, on the YouTube, that explain what actually every variable type is with demonstrations. Plus, all of this is on the official Epic documentation as well. So it's more of a case of we choose the values, we choose the variable for what we need to store, is what we're doing. I think this will work. I actually don't know. I probably should have double checked. Where is my keep track? Where'd my stupid mod go? Here we go. Let's do this, and we're gonna print out. We're gonna append. This is just for debug purposes. We're gonna append what index and if it was touched or not. And these things can go down here for now. Assuming this is called properly. There we go. Now, obviously, we don't have the code working properly. So, obviously, because these things aren't even going through properly. There we go. I wonder why my camera got screwed up. Because I can't see the top of this template anymore either. I think I screwed up the camera. Yeah. So, but this code's working. I can unhighlight things. But this stuff isn't saving properly. Oh, no, never mind. Never mind. It is saving properly. Yeah, never mind. Never mind. It is saving properly. We are just passing along the wrong information, technically. Right here. So, we are telling everything we hit that we were touched, but we are not telling that we were touched. So we actually need to pass along that we were touched as well. So this is going to be everything that's around us. So before we do everything that was around us, let's actually say that we were touched. So now we should get back 3 values. There we go. And then this would be number 2 apparently. Okay, so everything's false. This should be 512. Yep, that's good. This one should be everything false. Okay, cool. Now we're not actually setting this stuff properly. So let's see. If we were touched, what we need to do is this notifies. Okay, so this, let's comment this. Let's comment this. This notifies the grid we were touched. And when we get touched by something else, we basically need to set our isActive true, which means we need to run the code that is doing this right here is what we need to do. So we'll go ahead and do this. Set isActive like that. That sets the material. Then it passes along. So there we go. Now when I click the corners, it's going to set them all to active. Now obviously we're not flipping it, which is what we should be doing. So the proper way of doing this is flipping what we currently are. So these values here actually don't need to be set right here anymore. We're going to be setting those in the touch script. All this is doing, and technically the color coding. So this entire thing right here actually doesn't need to be there anymore. I probably should have pulled it out of here because I was going to use it up here. So this code actually right here is, you know what? That entire thing, actually, whoops, too many undos. This entire section right here, we're gonna pull out, and it goes into the I was touched, because we're technically calling I was touched on ourself. So we'll call whoops. Let's let's grab that one out of there. Let's grab this one, which is hiding out of here. There we go. So this code is basically I was touched. If we are currently active, we're going to flip ourselves, and then we're going to tell the grid that we were touched and basically keep track of ourselves. Go back down here. Now all of these, we can move over here. Basically call I was touched on ourselves, and then loop through everything around us and call I was touched on whatever's around us. Now it should flip. There we go. That's the point. That was exactly what I was trying to do. This is one of those games where you're basically trying to flip all there, just like that. You're basically trying to flip either all of them on or all of them off, like that. A simple puzzle game. But it's a start of something, because you could always then make, for example, more complex layouts. So let's fix our camera. Let's see, for RAR. So branch works like Boolean, and it would use Boolean for components like light if you just want to switch it on and off. Well, technically, yes. But a branch, which is somewhere in here, the branch takes in a Boolean, is what it does. The Boolean is the value of true or false. The branch says, okay, if something was true or false, let's do something. And if you look behind it, which we can't because it's built in, it's not a macro. But yes, you would use a Boolean with a branch because it is true or false. Unled. I know you saw it in here somewhere. Let's see. Have a cover system fully built in my game, but I want my character, when he reaches the end of cover, left or right, stop moving without using another box collision. Is there a way to do that? Well, with your cover system right now, how does he know he can go left or right? Are you just simply moving left or right? Like, for example, he attaches himself, then when you push left, he basically does the animation for moving left. So a box collision on the end, or just have your character have like a line trace, just a line trace out from where the character is, and see if it hits anything. If it hits nothing, then you're at the end of your cover. Before you do the move basically. Yeah, if you're already doing your line trace, you should be fine when you're doing the move. Are you doing the line trace like forward, for example? Because you could always move the line trace to the left or the right. Like, for example, if the character pushes left on their keyboard, move the line trace out to the left, 100 units or whatever, before you do your line trace towards your cover, and see if it hits anything. Yeah, you don't need to use the collision box, just do the line trace, because when your line trace fires off, you have if it was hit anything or not. And you could just have it, if it doesn't hit anything, don't move your character. There's nothing for it to hit. Hopefully that makes sense there, Unlaid. And I see your question, Nick. Give me a second. Right now I want to modify my mod and get rid of this score thing, because technically I'm not going to be using it. And obviously I'm referring to it somewhere, so it's probably in the add score event, right? Yep. Do that since we never call it. Let's just make sure all this stuff still works. Okay, good. We're still there. I was fixing the camera, I think. Somehow I screwed up the camera, which, did I screw up the camera, or did I just move my mod up more? I bet you I did that. Let's move it down. There we go. See, that works better at least. And we'll call this the Blackout, which I apparently can't type here. Blackout. There we go. So see, we've got a slightly different game. Now we just need to keep track of when everything matches, that we call it a finished game. Okay, so we'll go with that. Okay, so I'll save that there. Let's go see if we can find a question. Simple door, which is closed, and opens when the player takes the key and uses it on the panel next to the door. Okay, for the first time you must use the key on the panel, but after this first time the door will open automatically each time you get next to it as you gain access. But I can't figure out how to make it open with the panel used for the first time and get automatic for the rest. I made a branch like I've got the key so the door will open, but it opens anyways without using the panel. When I have the key, then I hope you understand. Okay, that seems like it's pretty simple. You've already said you got a branch set up, right? And I'm assuming the branch is set up. Okay. You have a key, you have a door, and you have a panel. You've already said you've got it set up where got the key and the door will open, but it opens anyways without using the panel. have another. I'm assuming when you, for example, go to the panel, you have the key, you activate the panel, and the door opens. Set another variable on the door called panel was used or panel active. And then when you do your other check, which is, hey, I want to open the door because I've already done this, check for the panel being active. If that makes sense. Just honestly add another branch and do an and in there. Probably the simplest thing to do. Set another flag wherever you set the flag. How do you print a message text when the actor is destroyed? It depends on kind of what you want to do. You can either use a text renderer, which is text inside the world, like you can see here, this blackout text, or you can use UMG, which is user interface text, and you could have it show up somewhere on your screen. Like, for example, you could have like status text in the bottom left. It'll say box was destroyed. But like you said, you had a box rotating, top of his text collects me. When you get to it, it uses explode particle, and the sound destroys actor, but I want to message after it like box is destroyed. So do you want to change the text at the top from collect me to box is destroyed? Or do you just want like a heads up event? And I don't know why text rendering wouldn't work for you. It's easy to change. Like in this case, we'll change the one we actually have right now. I can show you how to. I'll show you how to do that. So let's find our mod, and anytime our touch blacks is done, we're going to go ahead and delete this. We're going to check. So we're going to do a new function here. We'll call this check for win state. This is going to be stupidly retarded, but I intend on doing this really simple. This is a game jam. It's intended to get something to work. We're just simply going to loop through this. And at any point, if we hit a false, we are going to end. If we get to the end with the true, we are going to, for now, just put you win. And the variable is win. It should not be an array. Oops, we're going to set that. This, and then all we're going to do is just, like I said, do something really silly here. Let's see if this is false. We set is win to false, just like that. Wait. Let's set that. There we go. That's what we want right there. So we're going to come in and assume we're winning. If at any point we hit a false, is win becomes false. And then we'll do an if. And if is win is equal to true, print you win. And it's false. Not done yet. So in theory, if we set this up properly, oh, I should probably check for the actual win state. Like that. There we go. Okay, obviously something's wrong here. Set is win, loop through all of the touched blocks. Loop body. If any of these are false, set is win to false. If is win is true. If okay, so apparently I broke something. And the nice thing is we get to, oh, son of a, I hate the fact that you cannot pause on a for each loop. Yeah, so this is never getting called is what it is. So good old print string debugging, because we can pause inside of a loop like that. Why did my print string never get called? Okay, bear with me while I break stuff that I've managed to break. Let's see. Oh, okay. So I know the answer to this one. This would be me being an idiot. So here, when we're setting our array element for whatever block we've clicked on, I'm not resizing it, and our original one is set to 0 for the size. So I'm actually have a completely invalid array to check against. So there we go. You win. Boom. So our code works. So now we can go into here and we can go grab our here we go, our post block mod. We'll add another text renderer to this. Wait, no, not on the, oh, son of a gun. That's not what I meant to do. Grid. Add text renderer to the grid. Rotate this like this. Set this one to light up all the squares. Set this to the center and center. Let's see where it looks on here. Obviously that's not in a good spot. So let's give ourselves some bigger text here. Let's go with like 52. Let's move it down a bit. Okay, we're getting there. Let's move up a little bit and over to the right. Up a little bit, over to the right. There we go. Okay, cool. So if we were to play this, now we should have light up all the squares. So it's a really crappy place for that to be because we're not using UMG. So let's just move it up to like there. Obviously this is simply trying to get stuff to work because it's for a game. There we go. Light up all the squares. We know this is our text renderer, so now we can go in here and we can set text. Oh, for love of Pete. Set text if they win. And let's see. I believe I don't use text renderers much, so again, this is just it says to win. This is me trying to figure it out. Let's see. There we go. Now it says you win. Obviously, I should get rid of the debug stuff at this point. We don't need that. There we go. So we have a text renderer and light up all the squares. And if we light up all the squares, it changes to you win. Let's see. Let's see. For cases like these, I edited the standard for each loop with break to have a break output pin. Yeah. No, that is definitely a possibility. While I was in the middle of doing this, I was thinking I could have done a loop one, but honestly, it doesn't matter. If you're talking about, we're talking about in the context of a game jam. We're talking about in the context of just getting stuff working. This isn't, like a polished game where we spent hundreds of hours. And technically, if you look at this, we are done. We have a goal of lighting up all the squares. We can light up all of our squares. It'll tell us if we win or not. At this point, we could always do something like user interface, widget blueprint, game over. We will get rid of our canvas panel. No, I want to keep my canvas panel. I'm going to put an image on the background. Like that. We're going to give it a 0.3 alpha with black. Give it a little bit of like a fade out in the background. -10 to put it all the way in the back. And then we'll put, we'll just slap a little button here. Slap it in the middle like that. Center it completely. Tell it to auto size. Grab some text and slap it on the button. We'll do this one play again. We'll make it a little bit bigger. Whoa, that was huge. We'll go with like 52. Give it a little bit of a border so it gives us some space. We'll call this button. Button, thank you. We'll call it the quick restart button. We'll go into here. We'll grab our button event for clicking. we'll figure out what we named our map. Copy that in here. We'll do open level. Slap that sucker into here. Boom. Now we have a fully working user interface. Let's find our win event right here. Here's our win event. Create a widget. This is the game over widget. Going to add to viewport. You know what? Let me promote this to a variable just for safety's sake. This will be the game over UI reference. Like that, like that. Now we're adding it. We'll get our player controller. We're going to set UI mode. Now we're going to set show mouse. So this way we can now interact with our user interface with the mouse button. Not the mouse button, the mouse. The mouse. And there we go. That gives us a user interface. In theory, I don't know. Let's see if this works. There we go. We have a play again button. Obviously, I screwed up my UI, but we'll work on that. And then now we have play again. Now I do have an issue where we're in the wrong mode. That's why I stored a reference right here. So when we're done here, we need to find our game over. We'll go back into here. Let's cheat and copy these two things. Paste them right here. Set game mode. Like that. Like that. Like that. So this should, and then remove from parent ourselves, and then open the level. Okay. Let's go back and fix this. This is why it didn't look right. Okay. I'd try again. At least we got an easy game to test. Play again, and we should be able to do stuff again. Obviously, I've broken something. I'm not happy with this. What did I break? Okay, this should be 0 and 0. Why is... thank you. Let's see. Can you use stuff like engine plugins with blueprint nodes for a game jam? It depends on the jam itself. Some jams require you to create all content beforehand. Not beforehand, during the game jam. Some jams, like the epic ones, do allow that as long as you disclose what you've used inside of your submission. So I used Rama's plugin, I used the SQL plugin, I used the Infinity Blade assets for the marketplace. As long as you disclose that, it's fine for the epic one. So every jam has restrictions on what is and isn't allowed. I'm curious on how I broke this. I have a feeling it's because I'm doing this a really crappy way. I'm not happy with how we're doing this, but I was hoping it would work anyways. This is one of those things that you learn that you don't do stuff the wrong way or stuff stops working properly. Oh, no, this one. Okay, I think that was what it was. Nope. Ah. Okay, I'm definitely going to give myself a confusing look on this one. So let's see how this sets up the interface in the first place. So our grid builds everything. Right here. Begin play, loops, and builds a grid. Yeah, there should be nothing funky here, right? Grid, template labels, our controller. I know it's got something to do with the interface. For example, if I was to stop clicking on everything at random and just tell it to restart. So we should be fine. Oops, it'd also help if I spelled it properly. Huh. Seriously? Wait. Okay, mod. Okay. I could swear I copied this in properly. Thank you. Yeah, see? So it's working perfectly fine if I do the open level. So my widget itself is causing the issue. I have a feeling it's due to these issues right here. Let's see if we don't do anything with the mouse cursor. Apparently I forgot to hook this back up. Oh, look at that. Huh. So by setting it to UI only, which, you know what, we may not even need to do that. Oh my gosh. Oh, I think I know what the issue was. Oh, did I really? Skin. Yeah, okay. So this is one disadvantage of doing stuff that's obviously not yours by working with existing stuff. I have a feeling in somewhere in some of this code somewhere, we are already setting the game mode input using the mouse. So by me modifying the game mode input, it basically screwed over the existing setup. So now all I'm doing, since I already have game mode input, yeah, see, we kind of hid. It's funny. Okay, so, we obviously don't want that. Or do we? Where's my interface? Let's see, where's my image? Let me say it's that one. I'm trying to basically get the image to absorb all inputs, and that's obviously, whoa. Oh, because every time we're winning, we're basically creating the widget again. That's interesting. Okay, well, again, this is a game jam. It's honestly not worth the time trying to figure this one out when we could just do this, and now if they click anywhere, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's a game jam. Yeah, I thought it might be the level blueprint. That was literally the first thing I checked, but there's nothing in here. See, well, no, I shouldn't have to reinitialize anything when you do a, where'd the stupid code go? It's interface. When you do the open level, it's basically the equivalent of me going in here and doing this and literally opening it up from scratch. You shouldn't have to change anything. I know what the problem is. That's the way this is set up. If we were to go into our blueprints for the controller, they have it set up where basically the mouse cursor is shown in the controller, and then enabling click events is set up in the controller. The problem I'm having is when I show the user interface, I'm overriding those settings by setting user interface settings, and that's what's causing the issue. But honestly, at this point, we've spent like 45 minutes to get the basics working. This is a game jam, and it's an example. We get stuff working and we move on. That's all we're supposed to be doing. And I'm happy enough with this. It's Blackout now. So we basically started off with this puzzle template with the score, and we can click on stuff, and that's it. It didn't really give us anything. If we open up our mod we made after a little bit of time, now we have a fully functional game. We have instructions. We can click on things. Things react appropriately, as you can see. Of course, I screwed myself by not, yeah, there we go. And then we have the ability to play again, and there we go. Technically, I also realized that there's a bug in here, but that's up for someone else to fix. But the point is, we have a working game here. Let's you know, spend a little bit more time for like background. Gee, too many friggin' letters in here. Let's see. I want to do a ah crap! How do I always forget the names of these ones? Oh damn it! No, it's a stupid there's a node that gives me a line. Literally, that's what I want. Offset bands. There we go. And then grab another pair of these. Put in a Boolean. So it's a static bool to direction switch. We'll turn this one on like that. And then like that. Not quite what I was going for. Obviously, the multiply was not the right node, but it's actually kind of cool. Basically, I want to give it a little bit of a better appearance in the background. Is what I wanted to do. So let's see, scalar. So 1, and we give this one a yeah, and then there's a way to adjust the tiling on this, if I can remember. Oh, crap. Yeah, I want to say it's that. Of course. Because this is going to need a texture coordinate input. That's what it's going to need. If I remember right. And then we should be able to... Not quadratic, seriously? There we go. I was trying to get something similar. There we go. There we go. I wanted to give it just a little bit of an appearance in the background like that. So we gave ourselves a little bit of a, you know, something really quick and simple, but gives us a little bit more of a different look than our original product. See? So now we've got a little bit of a different look here. And apparently I managed to completely... What the hell? Okay, I gotta admit, that's pretty cool. Oh, that's funny. Huh. 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 Okay, I gotta admit, I'm super confused. Why did clicking on the bottom left one immediately end the game? Because... Oh, never mind. Okay, so yeah. So... This right here, remember where I said we had an issue with sizing to fit? We kind of should have just properly set this up in the first place. Like that. Because we didn't have false values for all these, or we never initialized it, we technically run into the issue where we have bad values. So that's kind of, yeah. That was my bad, small little bug. But there we go. So there's a small little example of something we could do. And then, you know, you could always expand it with leaderboards, bigger levels, and stuff like that. Okay, cool. So I'm happy with that. The puzzle one is done. I'm going to consider the puzzle one done. I just need to record it. So we'll consider the puzzle one ready to record. All right. See, that wasn't horrible. That was, I'd say, less than an hour to modify it, give it a little bit of gameplay and stuff. Let's see. Thanks for the help on Friday. Visibility errors went away. Now you only want to use custom events for anything you do because they seem better than functions, but they both have pros and cons. Yep, that is 100% correct. They have pros, they have cons, and you use whatever is appropriate or whatever you feel like if you can use either one. I agree completely. Cool. I have their puzzle. See, stuff like the side scroller and things like that, I'll pull things in. Top down. A lot of these are pretty simple. Twin stick, I'm thinking I'll show the example project here. Silly Geo. This basically uses the twin stick as an example. So that's easy enough. Vehicle templates are going to be a giant pain in the butt. I guess I could put some landscape and... Oh, actually, no, never mind. Where is the... There's already one in here for... Here, vehicle game. Yep. I can use this for the vehicle game example. It's just a simple little map with a start and an end with some scores, and you can keep track of some stuff. Okay, so that'll work. Yeah, this won't be too long. Well, this stuff, all the stuff I'm doing right now is I'm doing this. I've got a request to do some Game Jam videos in preparation for the Global Game Jam and some other stuff like that. So I will be creating a little intro template video setup for each of the templates and then doing some tips and tricks videos as well. That's what I'm doing this week. So yeah, that's what I will be doing. So all of these videos will be available later this week or whenever Epic wants to pop them up. And for stuff. So right now, all this week I'm doing is basically making templates. I'm making templates into semi-usable games just to show, hey, here's something you can quickly do. So that's what I'm going to be doing today and Wednesday. And, well, technically live streaming today and Wednesday. I'll be doing these today and tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday. Anyways, any more questions? It's been about an hour for the stream. Does anyone have any questions, or do they have any tips or tricks they think are super important or nice to know when you're working with the engine? Things to speed up stuff, for example. If you have anything, let me know. I'll be sure to add them to the list if it comes in super handy. Because that is the point of this. Hey, I spent 5 hours trying to do something because I have no idea what I was doing. Yet, it took me 5 seconds to figure it out once someone told me. Which, now that I realize that, I don't know where it will go, but I'm going to put it right here. Player controller. Enabling click in the player control to click on objects. Because that one took me an hour on the stupid jam last month. Oh, blueprint interfaces. Crap, those should probably be in here too. Difference between the events and functions. Because that's one that seems to pop up where people make the function and they can't find it. Or they assume that the function would show up on the left if they make just an event in a blueprint interface. Let's see, Rodrigo. 5 hours today on trying to understand AI and behavior tree for an RTS kind of setup. Enemies and character. Yeah, the AI system. Yeah. It definitely has a learning curve. Especially since I always forget the difference between decorators, services, and tasks. I always forget the difference 90% of the time, let alone the name. I just finally started remembering the name of all three of them. Spent hours trying to do a speed boost, like speed boost for 5 seconds after you hit an actor, and then you start working normal. Yeah, that is definitely something different. An issue with destroy actors. Plan to use behavior trees, but for the units themselves, just do blueprints. Yeah, there's lots of, especially if you're doing an RTS or something with a lot of units, you kind of have to fake a lot of the higher level stuff, and then use the more expensive stuff like behavior trees for more selective purposes. Yep. Okay. Yep. We're almost at an hour and a half. I did get something done. I got some good input from you guys and from the chat channel. I appreciate everyone hanging out. Hopefully, I was able to help the few people that had some questions. In regards to the vaulting and the cover system, hopefully, like I said, I think the issue with your vaulting is going to be the first animation that you're using. It's either, looks like it's either using something that's wrong, or you're using like a jump animation for the first part when you shouldn't be. In regards to getting to the end of cover, just do the line traces like you're kind of doing now. Just move it forward a little bit in the direction your character is moving, left or right, and then trace against the wall and see if it hits nothing. If it hits nothing, then you have no cover to move to. Yep. Everyone else? Yeah. So I'm going to end this here today. Like I said, I got a lot of work to do. I'll be back Wednesday, 10 o'clock, approximately. Maybe earlier. But let's go around 10 o'clock. Anyways, and I can answer more questions as needed. We'll go over more stuff. I should still be working on these examples. So if you happen to come up with any ideas, or if you come up with anything else, feel free to pass it along then. You can also feel free to pass it along as the comments on any of the videos. Like today's video might be a good one. I have email, Twitch, Beam, Twitter. The email address is on YouTube under the About section if you need to send anything there. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and let the stream idle for about 30 seconds so I don't just disappear and everyone goes, ah, he was gone. And again, everyone have a good rest of your day.